Here we are back at day 2 of Fintech Surge 2023. Thanks for joining us. For those of you that were here yesterday, we heard a lot about deep technology, what the region is doing around biometrics, trying to drive cashless, and of course, we talked about AI quite a lot. We also talked about open banking and some of the kind of deep technology initiatives that the region and innovators are taking to transform the Middle East, North Africa, digital financial services marketplace. Today, we're going to take a zoom-out view. We're going to look a little bit more at the strategic direction of markets. We're going to kick off looking at the next fintech ecosystem. We're going to look at the importance of scale, how one builds scale businesses in an evolving new world landscape. We're going to talk about partnerships, the power of partnerships, why they matter in ecosystems, and of course, we're also going to talk about cashless. And I'll be on a panel a bit later on with a really great selection of people, institutions and innovators, talking about what's happening in driving cashless payments across this region. We've got a really packed day. I hope you'll make use of the really tremendous mix of people that we've got to ask questions. So don't be shy. Put your hands up. Somebody will bring you a microphone, and make sure you get your questions asked and answered, ideally, hopefully. We don't have specific breaks in the session. It's a back-to-back program, so make sure that you take advantage of the coffee stands or the refreshment breaks outside. There's also coffee and water and food at the back of the room. Have a great day. As I say, ask lots of questions. We've got lots of people lots of bright, smart people that can give you great answers to some of those questions. So enjoy the day, and please can I welcome Chris Folayan, who's going to talk to Sailesh Malhotra at Geidea about the importance of building scale companies and the challenges on building the next digital financial ecosystem. Guys.
Hello? Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Chris Folayan. I'm head of growth for an African fintech called Interswitch. We basically help power the financial rails in Africa. But today we're here to really discuss fintech in the GCC ecosystem and how that is progressing, what amazing companies are doing, success stories, government influence, startups, and the list goes on and on. So I hope you guys are ready for a packed few minutes with key information and key insights about how fintech is really growing in this region. And I'm very, very, very humble and blessed to have Sailesh here with Geidea, and he's going to be discussing a lot of what has really helped with the fintech markets and helped that grow in the region. So without further ado, my very first question to you is, what is it that you need to be successful in the fintech industry here in the GCC, and what are some success stories that you've seen come out of the GCC in the fintech industry?
Thanks, Chris. You're very kind with your words. As I look at my own journey in the fintech space, there are a few things which are required to make any fintech or anyone working in a fintech successful. I think if I have to name the top ones, the first one would be a very well-structured regulatory environment. A very articulate regulation which clearly defines the do's and don'ts, the systems, and a regulatory environment which invites conversation, which invites interaction, and is ready to understand the challenges and then make changes as the industry moves on. See, Chris, what has happened over the last few years is the financial industry, pre-COVID and post-COVID, has changed a lot, right? Post-COVID, a lot of new fintechs have come into the industry, right? A lot of fintechs are now participating very aggressively in how to modernize the financial payment part of the industry. And this is not possible without the regulatory engagement. The second thing is a good technology environment, getting a good tech stack, getting the access to the right kind of technology which drives innovation in the market is very critical. You don't have a good tech stack which doesn't drive innovation, your efforts will not be as successful. The third thing is access to capital. Remember, fintech is a very capital-intensive industry. You need money. You need money to attract the right kind of talent. You need money to invest in the right kind of products and technology, and you need money to run your day-to-day operation. So the importance of VCs becomes very critical in the success of the fintechs. And finally, I would say the most critical thing is getting access to the right kind of talent. Market is flooded with very good talent. In Dubai, we've been very lucky. In Geidea, we've been extremely lucky. We have been able to get talent from some of the most established payments player. We've been able to attract talent from non-payment player, and all this talent has come forward and created a fantastic system which is driving growth not only for the banks but even for our merchant-facing business. So that's what I would say is a good recipe for success.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Are there any specific success stories that have come out of your amazing product and product line that you can share?
There's tons of them, right? If I were to take a step back, if you look at some of the leading fintechs in the world, right? Majority of them came from US. You name it, the Square, the PayPals of the world, the Adyen's, the Stripes from Europe. Singapore is another awesome generator of success stories in form of GrabTech and all of that. Grab, sorry. In Geidea, we made a lot of initiative. We set up a whole innovation and R&D department in Geidea, which is looking at pure innovation and how to make lives of our merchants more simpler, easier. We invested very heavily into the box that you see sitting on the till. How do we put more apps onto it? How do we make it faster? How do we make it more productive? How do we make sure that that box is fully monetized? And what we did was we invested in products like the ECR, the electronic cash register. And we told the merchants that you don't need to buy another ECR software and then spend truckloads of money in integrating it. We will give you a terminal which is integrated with the ECR system and the payment system, right? The payment system will also have, or that box will also have the capability to generate codes, dynamic codes. You don't need to spend extra money in the integration work. So we have done a lot of work in understanding the ecosystem of the merchant and how much modernization, how much innovation, and how much of the hassle can be reduced by integrating more and more into that one simple box. So a lot of work at Geidea is happening, a lot more is about to come. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
As you progress, as I think everybody here would agree, when you're building these kinds of businesses and business lines, you have to start thinking about government policy and what the government can do with policy and regulation, be it new regulations on security, adaptation. Now we have even AI coming into play. So what is your company doing, and what do you think the influence is of the government, and what role can the government play or not play in helping the fintech space in the GCC?
Yeah, I think in GCC we've been lucky. We are here at the right time, right? We just saw the UAE regulators come out with the retail payment scheme. What it did was it removed the biggest barrier in the industry by simply saying that fintechs or non-traditional bank-based players can apply for a license and can start operating in the region, right? We've seen similar efforts by SAMA and KSA. We are now seeing similar efforts are underway by regulators in Oman, in Kuwait, and a couple of other places. What basically the regulators are doing is they want to modernize the payment system. And bigger question is, why do they want to modernize? They want to modernize because of transparency, they want digitization, and they want to realize the VAT in a much more faster and an efficient manner. Now, what we've done in Geidea very successfully is we've invested a lot of time and energy and effort in talking to the regulators regularly, right? In making sure that we are compliant. Today, the prime focus of the regulators, they want partners who are contributing towards the growth of the economy, but more importantly, those fintechs which are compliant and help drive more governance and compliance in the marketplace, right? If we were to take a few examples, Singapore Monetary Authority has done a fantastic job. They've created those sandbox environments which allows and encourages and motivates more fintechs to come into the industry, start creating newer products, something very similar to what our regulators in the region are also doing. To your specific question, what they should not do, I think making the regulation so tight and so paper intensive that it demotivates or brings in a demotivation in the industry for more and more people to come in. A lot of people, often I hear them say, is market is getting saturated, too many players. And my belief is there is nothing called as enough competition. Remember, every time a new competitor comes in, it brings in new technology, it brings in innovation, and forces the traditional players to think differently. One key area where I do want to see regulators play a larger role is helping the industry players, both the traditional bank partners and the new partners, build trust amongst themselves, right? Create more cohesiveness between the traditional and the new emerging technology. I think if they can play a role in that by creating team events, industry events, and so on and so forth, I think that would be a big win for the GCC region.
Interesting. Fine.
Yeah.
So, built on that, as we all know, there's this whole aspect about financial inclusion and what that can do. As you guys probably know there, you have pretty much two buckets, right? You have a bucket of the banked and the bucket of the unbanked. Those are the only two buckets out there. Now, the unbanked is what you're trying to achieve when you're talking about financial inclusion. How do we get the unbanked banked or onto the rails or onto a financial or fintech system? And that will definitely improve any kind of economy that's out there significantly. So what can be done when it comes to financial inclusion? What can be done to improve and get more people on the financial rails utilizing fintech platforms like yours? Because we all know, again, I'm from Africa, and I run a fintech company based out of Africa. We all know what financial inclusion can do to uplift the environment, the society, and the people of the community. So what is it that can be done by your company and in the GCC that you think can really just make that turn to improve financial inclusion for those who are yet to really jump on that rail?
Oh yes, Chris, very valid question. And see, financial inclusion plays a very critical role, right? If we were to go back a few years, I would say go back to 2015, 2016. If you look at the cash which was involved in the economy, it was in the vicinity of 65 to 70%, right? Today, if you look at the usage of cash, that has dramatically reduced. And if I were to dare to put a number, I would say is down to almost 40%. 60% of it is now digital or plastic, right? And what that does is it gives access to a different kind of a market. It drives spend, it drives transparency, and from a regulatory point of view, it gives them much more clarity into where the money is going and where the money is coming from, right? What the financial inclusion also does is for the newer sectors which are opening up or newer players that are coming up, it widens the market dramatically, right? It gives them an opportunity to create products which are customized to those based on segmentation of the market, right? We often hear, people talking about remittances, cross-border payments. We hear terms like digital wallets, closed-loop wallets, open wallets, so on and so forth. All of these products are happening because there is financial inclusion happening. More and more people are now coming under the remit of or getting an access to make payments through alternate payment methods. BNPL is a classic example which opened up a payment segment to the newbies who were entering into the market, right? Youngsters who wanted to buy luxury products or they wanted to buy expensive products but didn't have that initial cash or upfront cash to pay it, who can now access products of BNPL to make those payments. And each of these efforts, initiative is widening the market. It's giving a larger room to play. If we were to look at some of the economies which I consider are almost cashless, like New Zealand, if you look at those economies for years, the amount of cash usage is not more than 10 to 15%. Everything else goes through either wallets or plastic or through an alternate method, payment method. So financial inclusion plays a very critical role. Plus, the most important thing is it motivates more fintechs to come into the market with greater innovation, with products which cater to the masses and to the segments, different segments of the society.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I know we're running out of time. It shows that we only have about 30 seconds, but I do have one pressing question.
Yeah.
We're here at the largest startup forum on the planet, and I have to ask, as a serial entrepreneur myself, who just ran one of the largest e-commerce platforms in Africa, I have to ask, what are you doing for startups, and how can your platform be used by startups? I'm sure we have amazing entrepreneurs out there, like myself, who would like to know, what does your platform have that are tools that we can use that can help us, with our e-commerce platform or our strategic POSs to ensure that the financial systems that we have are run on the best platform possible, which is definitely yours in the region. But what are the things that startups can utilize your platform for, and how can startups really gain a tremendous benefit, not just from the fintech ecosystem, but look, you're here on stage with me. From your platform itself, how can startups really take or play a role?
Startups get immense benefit from Geidea. Geidea as a company thrived and has become very successful because we were the enablers for banks, startups, and other fintechs to get into the payment market. We have invested massive amount of money, time, effort in building the kind of tech stacks which requires number of years of R&D, research and development. What we do at our end is we offer these tech stacks, we offer this space, we offer this to those newbies who do not want to invest in their own tech stack, but they want to use our technology as a backend and want to offer middleware and front-end systems and solutions to the merchant community or their digital community. What Geidea has done exceptionally well is made it so easy for fintechs and for banks to accept plastic or become or offer merchant acquiring services in the market in a very fast and an efficient manner. We've invested in things like digital onboarding, real-time risk management. We've invested a lot of money in transaction monitoring, real-time payments. A lot of effort and energy has gone into it. If fintechs want to reinvent the wheel, not only will they end up investing in millions, but for them to achieve the same results, it will take several years of R&D and research. So my platform is available. My sales team is continuously engaged with new fintechs, or even established banks, in helping them come into the payments industry and start offering their solutions to the SMEs or even the large enterprise customers. Egypt, we've done phenomenally well. Saudi, of course, it is our flagship company with over 65% market share over there. And we support all our banks. Today, remember, is a world of friend-me, right? There are no friends, no enemies. So, everybody is welcome. We would love to work with you. If any one of you wants to know more, please do reach out to me, and I'm happy to guide you. Yeah.
Thank you very much. We have run out of time, but thank you all for gracing us with your presence. We really appreciate it. And thank you so much for being on stage and sharing your amazing company with us. So thank you very much.
You're very kind.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. The next person should, Phillips should please come up for his presentation.